Aloha mai kākou, e komo mai the curtain call, a weekly program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. Friday, June 5th was the 186th anniversary of the passing of Queen Kaʻahumanu, and it was Maui magic working. It was opening day of Pro Arts Maui premiere of the Conversion of Kaʻahumanu by Victoria Nalani Nubel, directed by Hoku Pavao of Collective Pilina Collaboration, sponsored by the Wave of Harmony Foundation, and media sponsored by KPOA 93.5 FM. This is one show you do not want to miss, and you only have Thursday through Sunday to see it. The opening night was sold out, and the Coconut Wireless is on fire with enthusiasm for this theatrical and historical masterpiece. Queen Kaʻahumanu was the Queen of Hawaii from 1795, when Kamehameha the Great united the Hawaiian Islands, until her death on June 5, 1832. She served as regent for 37 years, the longest-serving regent in Hawaii's history. The play opens in Hartford, Connecticut, where Sybil Mosley, Leona Locke, was a teacher for 9 years. She is a devout Christian and wants to be a missionary. Next, we meet Lucy Goodale, Rebecca Rhapsody, a native of Marlborough, Massachusetts. She, too, is a teacher who wants to spread the good news of Jesus Christ to the uncivilized. They learn of a mission to the Sandwich Islands, as Hawaii was then known to the world, thanks to Captain Cook. However, only married women will be allowed on the journey. Ms. Mosley marries Reverend Hiram Bingham, whom she met through a mutual friend in Windsor, Connecticut. Ms. Goodale marries Reverend Asa Thurston, sight unseen. Queen Kaʻahumanu, Makalani Franco Francis, whom King Kamehameha appointed as co-regent with Liholiho, Kamehameha II, is fretting over the end of the kapu system because the Ali'i Nui had dinner with her, his mother, and sister. The Hawaiian kingdom is in a state of chaos with the end of the kapu system, and there is revolt in the air. Now we meet Hannah Grimes, Kaili Ka'eo, a hapahali whom Pali, Ashlyn, Hi'ile, Ani, teases, ridicules, and mocks. They are courtiers to the queen. When the missionaries arrive, they are appalled by the nudity of the natives. The Hawaiians are equally appalled by their covered bodies, stern expressions, ugliness, and overall lack of joy. Mrs. Thurston reveals she is unable to embrace the natives, and Mrs. Bingham reminds her of her Christian values to love others as we love ourselves. The Queen is interested in what these women have to offer. They teach her how to read and write and prepare her to be baptized. She will be Hawaii's first Christian in 1825. While Hannah struggled with her hapa-ness, Pali is revealed as kawa, or outcast. Although the kawa were made maka'ainana when the kapu system ended, the playwright exercises artistic license, depicting a scene where the caste system is still in full effect. Kaʻahumanu spits on Pali, and Hannah looks down on her with utter contempt. This is a time when Christian kindness is in severe contrast with that system, and Mrs. Bingham and Mrs. Thurston embrace Pali. Meantime, Mrs. Thurston has developed breast cancer. She has a mastectomy without anesthesia. She requires aftercare, which Mrs. Bingham is unable to provide, but Pali steps up. There's a marvelous scene where Kaʻahumanu does an ole. It would have been helpful to have the translation. However, it was clear from what came next, she was trying to reconcile her desire to leave the past and embrace change and Christianity. The cast is uniformly outstanding. It is so great to see Ms. Franco Francis back on stage. I remember her fondly in several roles when the great original show Ulalena was playing. Her Kaʻahumanu is everything we expect from a queen. She is decisive, knowing, and commanding. But when she has a private moment, she reveals her self-doubts and vulnerability. Her ole scene is the most powerful in the show. She carries herself regally at all times, and her gaze is riveting and humbling at once. She is the queen, there is no doubt. Fresh off her triumph in Rent, Kaili Ka'eo gave us a Hannah Grimes who has been abused, embarrassed, and has to defend herself. There is much humor in the play. Her scene with Pali, when they both examined the ha'ole women to great delight and disgust, brought a huge laugh from the sold-out house. When Kaʻahumanu picks kalo and hands it to her, she handles it expertly. Beautiful piece of culture. Ashlyn Hileani's Polly is the comic relief in the show in the first act. Her Polly is on fire with energy. She is having a wonderful time, and she punctuates it with her incandescent smile, inquisitive gestures, and goofy physicalization. Then in the second act, when she is revealed as Kawa, she exhibits a victim's horror. Finally, when she is given the opportunity for redemption by the missionary women, she revels in her rebirth. All in all, a perfect creation of a complex character. For more than 2 decades, Leanna Locke, whose maiden name was Edwards, has been providing Maui audiences with great work. Whether it's a musical, comedy, drama, or tragedy, she never disappoints. Add Sybil Mosley Bingham to her long list of theatrical brilliance and accomplishment. Ms. Locke found the evangelism in this 19th century missionary without evangelizing. Her Mrs. Bingham is kind, gentle, and exhibits Christian virtues and values one wants to emulate. When she has her breakdown around treating Mrs. Thurston, one feels her pain at her inability to render care and comfort to her friend. Overall, another performance for the ages. Rebecca Rhapsody appeared in Sleeping Beauty, the first pro-arts production at Stepping Stone Playhouse in Queen Kaʻahumanu Center in 2008. She has been absent from Maui Theater since 2020. Motherhood called. But now she is back. Her Mrs. Thurston is the vulnerable one in the show. She gets seasick on the voyage over. She cannot love Hawaiians as she is commanded to do in Scripture, and she has breast cancer. Ms. Rhapsody found that vulnerability throughout her performance, but when she portrays the mastectomy scene, she displays a level of courage worthy of the Medal of Honor. The Pro Arts Playhouse playing area has been significantly enlarged due to the conceptual contributions of Patty Lee and Ms. Pavao and the design talents of Amanda Michelle Dellinger. The entire back wall became a playing area. The production employed the prodigious skills of Maui's costumier emerita, Kathleen Schulz. Once again, Ms. Schulz has given the actors what they needed to realize their roles. From the lei popo on Kaʻahumanu to the bonnets and high button shoes of the missionaries to the Queen's final dress where she is fully westernized, everything worked. Ricky Jones gets credit for the lighting, not only highlighted the actors with spots on stage, but also when they were using the house. I do not know what the Kumakua production of this play was like, but I cannot imagine a production better than this one. At the conclusion of most of the scenes, the audience stared in rapt silence. At the end of the play, the audience didn't applaud until the lights came up and they realized it was over. Ms. Pavao, in her notes, asks the audience, quote, not to decide who is good or bad, but to ask ourselves, how do we live together even through differences, unquote. She achieved that in spades. Congratulations. One of the most special moments in this performance occurred before the curtain when the audience was asked to stand for the entrance of the members of Ahahui Kaʻahumanu Chapter 4, Wailuku Island of Maui, and then, after the standing ovation, they came on stage to sing Kaʻahumanu, written in 1916 by Helen Desher Beamer. It was a glorious conclusion to a great night of theater. Mahalo nui loa. The Conversion of Kaʻahumanu continues Thursday to Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and the final performance will be on Sunday at 2 p.m. Go to www.proartsmaui.org for tickets and information. Get them now. You do not want to miss this show. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Mahalo nui loa for joining me. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui strong. Ahui ho.
Oka